are three events that happened early on that I feel like changed everything for me as a guitarist and musician. And I didn't realize it back then, but now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, I need to share this with you guys. And I'll say this, even if you just take one of these and implement them, and I'll talk you through what happened, and I'll show you why they're so important, and also I'll tell you how you can implement this like this week, and it's going to transform everything about your guitar playing and your approach to this wonderful instrument that you and I play. Now, the first thing I want to share, let's go back to, I've been getting the date wrong on this for years, by the way. We're going to go back to the end of 1990. I've been saying I've started playing guitar in 1989 for many years now, and I just did the math, just did a little timeline, and I'm like, oh crap, man, I got that wrong. So I actually started playing guitar the end of 1990, which to this date, I've been playing guitar for about 35 years now. So I started out on my uncle's acoustic, and I'll spare you all the details on the backstory. I actually talk about this in depth in my book, Heavy Metal and Weights, quick plug there. But I started playing acoustic just on 4 rusty strings. My uncle's old acoustic he had stowed away in a closet. But if we backpedal before that just a little, what inspired me was there was this kid that I went to school with, high school. This is at Tate High School in the Pensacola, probably more so Cantonment, Florida area. And again, this is around probably 1990. He was on the bus. He always had his headphones on. He had long hair, this jean jacket with all the patches, always air drumming, always happy. Me being a timid kid, I was scared to talk to him because I just thought he was cool. I looked up to this dude so much. But one day I'm like, hey, dude. So he removed his headphones. He knew I wanted something, and he knew what I was going to ask. I'm like, what are you listening to? He said, Metallica. Put his headphones back on, went back to air drumming. I was sold, and he knew it. So Kevin, I think his name was Kevin Larone, not to be confused with the bodybuilder Kevin Levrone. That'd be a cool dude to meet as well, because I think he plays guitar too. But I think it was Kevin Larone, and I've yet to be able to find this guy. I've searched for him on the internet, and I just can't find him anywhere. So Kevin, if you happen to see this, man, thank you. You were one of my inspirations for picking up this wonderful instrument that we all play. All right, fast forward to that. I start playing guitar. Soon after that, my parents saw I'm serious about it. They bought me an electric guitar, and I started playing, of course, Metallica, because after I found my love for metal, I went right out and bought 2 cassettes. We had these ancient devices called cassettes back then. 2 cassettes, Master of Puppets and Justice for All. I was hooked. And of course, that led to things like Guns N' Roses and all these other bands, all the hair bands of that era, Winger Warrant, of course, Poison, a little bit of Bon Jovi. I got into Whitesnake, Scorpions, you name it. I was into that realm, into that whole world. Here's what helped me, and I didn't realize this helped me so much until later, and I can look back now and like, whoa, okay, now I get it. While I'm playing metal at home, I grew up in a small church, small little country church, probably on a country road, like John Denver, right? Anyway, there's this dude in there. His name's Ronnie Goodman, and he was more of a blues jazz guitarist. Not my style at all, but for whatever reason, I was mesmerized by Ronnie's playing. His playing was just so cool, and he would just make up stuff. I mean, he knew music, how to read music, theory, and all that good stuff, but I could tell he was just making up stuff as he went, as he played. And of course, all the gospel hymns they were playing back in those days in this church, well, they're like all based on piano. So everything was kind of like in non-guitar friendly keys, in like A flat, B flat, E flat. Well, Ronnie took my friend and I, because I was also jamming with this really good friend, Alex Green. So Alex, if you see this dude, I enjoyed all those years us jamming together. We had so much fun. But he and I, we started playing music together in church. And then we're playing along with these piano-friendly key songs, A flat, B flat, E flat. Because of that, I learned bar chords really well. And of course, Ronnie encouraged us to learn the songs, but he also encouraged us, okay, it's time for your solo. He wanted us to make something up on the fly, so I had to learn the fretboard in a completely different way. And I didn't realize how much this helped me until years and years later. I'm playing metal at home, and then again, in Sundays and Wednesday nights or whatever, we're in there playing bar chords, not in the bar in church, but we're playing these bar chords along to gospel hymns. Again, it forced me to learn the fretboard really well. By the way, Alex is the dude with the flying V. The other two guys, both their names are Matt, and you guys can see me there when I had hair with the red, bright red Gremlin guitar. Yeah, it was my first guitar that was purchased probably around January 1991. Another part to this, and we'll move on to the second concept I want to share that greatly helped me, but there's one more part to what I want to share with you in this, and I think this might be one of the most important things you can do as a guitar player. We'll cover this, but I also, at home, I would just play the radio. I'd play, like, think TK 101 was the station, the rock station back then. Then we had a couple like rock mixed with some pop, like, Prince. Then you'd hear Def Leppard. Then you would hear Madonna, then Tiffany, then Genesis, and so forth. I think that was WABB FM 97 or something 98, whatever. If you're from that area, Pensacola, you can tell me what those stations were back in the early 90s. But I would just play the radio, and I would plug my guitar into my amplifier, and I would play along with whatever song was playing at that time. Now, here's the kicker. We're listening to the radio. The songs are by different artists, which means what? Which means practically every song was in a different key. Sure, you'd hear like a rock song come on that was in standard tuning, but then you might hear like a little Dokken or Rat or something like that where they tune to E flat, right? E flat standard. Then you might hear a Prince song that might be in a different key, or Madonna in a different key. So I would kind of get the chord progression down in that key. I'm like, okay, well, these are the basic chords. I wouldn't play the song, it's not like I was learning the song note for note, but I would just get the basics of the chord structure down, start playing along with that. Okay, that's it. Then I would start making up my own guitar solos, just like Ronnie taught us to do in church. And I had so much fun doing that. And the reason why this is so important for you is that this concept of not just playing the same thing all the time, but venturing out, playing songs in different keys, in keys that you may never even think about playing. But hey, I encourage you to try it because it forces you to kind of branch out of that box. And again, you learn what notes, as you're improvising, you learn what notes naturally fit within that key of that song that you're playing. And I would even say venture out and play some different styles. I think that being able to fit into the pocket in multiple styles and multiple keys, more importantly, well, that's just going to make you a better overall guitar player, thus, of course, making you better at playing your style. The second concept, and we're going to stay in this timeline just for a little bit, the early 90s, but then we're going to take off beyond that, and this is something that will help you tremendously. It'll help you grow as a musician and guitar player. Well, as soon as I started playing guitar, I immediately started jamming with other musicians. My friend Alex, I told you about, well, he would come over, I'd go over there, and we would just play music together. He had been playing guitar about a year before I started, so of course he was naturally better. He's a phenomenal guitar player. I remember him showing me this thing. He was tapping with his pick, finger tapping with his pick, and I was like, whoa, dude, how are you doing that? But we would get together and jam so much. In fact, at one point, we plugged in our amplifiers on the porch at my house, my parents' house, and we just cranked it. Somebody called the cops on us. I mean, I know that's kind of typical, right? But I grew up sort of out in the country, so we didn't have like super close neighbors. So yeah, we must have had them cranked up pretty loud. And as I mentioned before too, we were both playing in church. So we're playing with other musicians. We're playing with our good friend and mentor, Ronnie Goodman. By the way, rest in peace, Ronnie Goodman. He passed away many, many years ago, but he was such a phenomenal guitar player, phenomenal person, and I'm glad to have had him in our lives and have him show us all the things that he showed us. He was really encouraging, really encouraged us as well to play our own style. You hear that message from me in every video I put out there. But of course, we're also playing with other musicians too. So Ronnie's sister, her name was Retta Goodman. She passed away many years ago as well. This is what happens when you get up in age. People start, they start moving to the other place. Anyway, so Retta, of course, she played piano, and she was kind of like the culprit of the music. I mentioned I played in all these different keys, these weird piano-friendly keys, non-guitar-friendly keys. So we're having to really fit in the pocket here with different instruments. So in other words, if Ronnie's playing this on guitar, well, I don't necessarily want to play the same thing or even the same like picking style. So if he's strumming, maybe he was playing acoustic. So on electric, I needed to do something a little different, not just play the same thing. Of course, the piano, it's doing its own thing. So I've got to make sure what I'm playing, does it fit with what's being played on the piano. And mind you, I'm not leading this. I am following other musicians, which again, this is super important. I'm learning to play in the pocket and come up with stuff. Even though I know the chord structure, even though I know the progressions, I'm still coming up with ways to strum, ways to pick, and of course the little lead licks that I'm throwing in that complement everything else that's going on. And Ronnie taught us, or encouraged us rather, to do that, to play in the pocket like that. When I jammed with Alex, we'd be jamming, playing some metal stuff, but oftentimes one of us would branch off and start doing something a little different. Even if we were playing a song that was, of course, written by someone else. Maybe I'm playing the core of that song just like it is, but he starts playing something different. Well, here comes the solo. Maybe I break out a solo, but it's not the exact same solo of the song. It's something different. So my point is, and of course you guys hear me say this all the time as well, not only do I encourage you to develop your own style of playing, but I always encourage you to take what I share with you. All of my lessons, if you're in my Guitar Academy, my courses, yeah, learn this stuff, but then I want you to quickly branch off and start creating your own way of playing that. Where can you take it? Because this is when you start becoming more than just this girl or guy that plays guitar in the corner over here. You start becoming your own guitar player. You start becoming your own musician, because now you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that's what? That is creating. We are all meant to create. That's what we're put on this earth to do, to create. And that means that you are to get outside of that box, go outside of the norm, go outside of, well, that's the right way to do it, and I've got to do it exactly like that. No, your way is the right way, and the way it needs to be done is the way that you do it. So I know I got a little off track here, but that's why these concepts I'm sharing with you, that's why they're so important. Now let's go past this timeline a little bit more here. So I actually got into my first band. It was the year I graduated high school, the summer I graduated in 1993. And I had gone to high school with this dude, same age, graduated the same year. He was much smarter than me, so that's probably why I didn't know him, because we were in different classes. But Eddie Gray, who actually he's on his way to my house in a day or so. We're going to see Obituary this weekend together in Tampa. Eddie Gray was managing this band called Palingenesia, which means a new beginning in Greek. And I played with Palingenesia, so here we are playing with other musicians. Now not just in church, now not just jamming with, someone just, exchanging riffs and such. Now I'm playing with a full, I wouldn't say metal, but alternative rock band, we'll call it that. And we were a solid band. We were actually building some momentum in the Pensacola area at that time. That lasted about 2 years, though. That project kind of fell apart. People went their separate ways, like that cool Journey song, Separate Ways. There's always got to be a pun. In any case, though, Eddie and I, we had become really close friends, and we started our own band. We called ourselves The Guys. We're like, hey, we're just some cool guys. And then not only are we practicing now, we're starting to play some shows. So we played at a few festivals, and I was already writing songs. I was already writing lyrics, for those past couple of years. So I already had some songs put together, and of course I introduced those to Eddie, and we started writing together, and that's how our little band was formed. Then we got this opportunity to play at Springfest in 1999. Well, for this show, I really wanted a second guitar player. And this falls in line with jamming with other musicians, also knowing where you're hearing certain things and where certain things might be lacking as you're jamming with other musicians. And this can happen whether you're jamming with just your friend. You're like, okay, well, you're playing this, but I'm hearing this here. How can I fit that in? Or when you're playing with a full band. I'm the only guitar player. Eddie was playing bass. We had a drummer. So I met this guy that I was working with at the time, Tom Sherman, who to this day still remains a very close friend. Actually, Eddie and Tom, all three of us. But we played this big festival together, and we had a really good time doing that. Actually, Eddie Money had played on the stage right beside us, on the stage right beside ours. So this is a really big deal. And we played several festivals. And of course, I continued to play with some other groups, and I played with a couple other churches after that as well. And of course, I still jam with people today. But my point to all this is I encourage you to jam with other musicians. You could have a friend that plays guitar and you just get together as often as you can and you just, bounce ideas. Who knows? You might write something really cool together. Chances are you will. Or if you have the opportunity to form a band, if you're already in one, hey, play as much as you can together. If you can jam with other musicians who aren't guitar players, well, that's even better. If you can just jam with a bass player, then you're really going to hear some different things in your playing. Or with a drummer, you're going to hear the music in a different way. Whenever you add another person, another human element into this, things just blossom like crazy. So I strongly encourage you when you get a chance to jam with other musicians. If it's not with a full band, if you don't have that access, try to find somebody that you can just sit down and jam with and just bounce ideas off of, and hey, see what you can come up with together. The last concept I want to share with you, and you may not think this will help you right now because you might not be in this mindset, you might not have the aspiration that we're about to talk about, but there's another way to achieve this, okay? So we've talked about playing in different keys, right? We've talked about that and playing other music when you get a chance to. And we talked about jamming with other people, how that can really just bring your playing skills and overall skill up to a completely new level. That's exciting. Well, the other part that flows with this is playing live any and every chance that you get. Now, I said you might not have this aspiration to go start a band and go tour and play out and all that stuff. Many of you watching may be a hobby for you, and that's perfectly okay. There's a caveat to that, though. I'm going to share that in a second. I've been playing live music in front of people, well, since then, since the early 90s, my entire life, for almost 35 years now, pretty much since I picked up guitar. If the band thing's not your aspiration, what I strongly encourage you to do, there's two ways you can do this, is go to an open mic for one. Every town out there has an open mic going on somewhere. Find out where that is. Open mics are great, because typically, every open mic I've ever been to, and I used to host one, sadly the brewery I was hosting at, Bootleggers Brewing, they haven't closed, but they're moving locations. They're just trying to find a new location. But some of you watching this, you've been to my open mics. We had a blast there. Most open mics, the musicians are going to be phenomenal. They're going to be encouraging and supportive, and they're going to help lift you up. I'm inclined to say that every guitar player, every musician should, if you're not performing out and about, you should be doing an open mic somewhere at least once a month. Even if you just play electric guitar, you just want to go plug in your amp and play something that's inspiring, something you've been working on, even if it's just a 2-minute jam. You got up there, you did it, and you played in front of someone. What you don't realize when you're doing this is you're building a completely different skill set within you, and it just makes your playing that much more powerful. I'm harping on open mics because I feel like these are so important. If you're not out there in a band, if you're not playing live anywhere, and even if you have no aspiration to, I strongly believe that you should go to open mics and perform there. Now, you can also jam in front of other people. And we talked about earlier, just going back to concept number one, just jamming with somebody else. You're playing in front of that person as well, and you want to sound good. So that can challenge you in that way as well. So that's a good thing. Now, of course, if you're playing out in bands, keep doing what you're doing. And there's so many metal bands here in Tampa now. I'm very proud of the place, I live. Tampa, this was like, specifically Brandon, Florida, this was like the metal capital back in the 80s. Of course, at that time, I was in Pensacola, right? I moved here, I think, around 2000, the year 2000. And just over the past recent years, I have gone to the Orpheum, gone to the Brass Mug. There are metal shows like almost every weekend, and there's so many just great metal bands, death metal. If you're one of those people out there playing metal in whatever town you're in, I commend you. Please keep doing what you're doing. Do not ever stop doing that. Now, me, I play my solo stuff, Recently, I've played songs. I've gotten musicians together to learn songs off my latest album, Overcometh. That was released back in 2023, December 2023. So this has been out 2 years now. But there are about 6 or 7 songs on here that I got other band members to learn. I just pulled some members from some other bands. I've got my really close friend Drew. We've become really close over the past couple years. He's from the Drinking with Drew Show podcast. He's a phenomenal guitar player. He plays guitar with me on stage. I have snagged Daniel Santana on bass. He's from the death metal band Precipice and plays with some other bands too. Super great bass player. And I've also used Must Not Kill's drummer, William James. I just want to say real quick, rest in peace, William James. He unexpectedly passed away a couple of months ago. So we're all still heavy hearts because he was a phenomenal drummer. I am really honored to have shared the stage with him and had him up there playing with us. Like I said, I think we've played a show the past 2 years together, and just phenomenal person, phenomenal musician, multi-instrumentalist. So he was living his dream. I'll say that. He was living out his dream. He was a full-time musician doing the thing that he loved. But those shows probably happen about once a year for me. So what I do to keep active in playing in front of people is I also play live solo acoustic shows all over Tampa, and I just play my old 80s cover songs, and that's actually worked out quite well for me over the past, I don't know, I've been doing that for about 5 years now. So yeah, I just bring the acoustic, bring my equipment, and I get up there and play some tunes, give people some nostalgia for a few hours. So I do that on a regular basis, probably anywhere from like 7 to 10 gigs or more a month, and I play some private events as well. So that's been a really cool thing. But my point being is I encourage you in whatever capacity possible to play in front of people. And again, the way you can easily do that, first of all, if you don't have access to a band, you're not playing live anywhere, and again, even if you have no aspiration to go play live, go to an open mic. That's the first step. That's the first and foremost step. I also encourage you maybe to play in front of your friends, in front of your family. If you guys have a little party at the house or something like that, well, that's an easy way to implement this concept here. And again, it's just going to level up your playing overall, because when you get out there in front of people, things change, right? Things change. You get a little nervous, the little butterflies come to visit, but that's a beautiful thing, because then when you go back to jamming in your studio room here or your bedroom or wherever you normally jam at, your skill level will immediately go up several notches, and you will grow. You will grow as a musician, as a guitarist. I think this helps you grow as a person as well. It's just a very beautiful thing, and everything just kind of comes full circle for you in that regard. So a quick recap, the 3 things that really helped me as a guitar player that I didn't realize helped me so much then when I started all this, and I think these can help you as well, is first of all, stretch yourself by playing in different keys. Number 1, play in different keys, and even be open to playing, outside of your normal genre. This is really going to help you grow as a musician. It's going to help you learn the fretboard better, and it's just going to build your overall skill level as a guitar player. Number 2, jam with other people. Jam with others every chance you get, even if it's just jamming with a buddy that plays guitar and you're bouncing ideas off one another. If you can jam with a bass player or drummer or even a full band, well, that's even better. But playing with other humans, playing those instruments, and other human ideas mixed with your human ideas. This is just like this organic thing that just blossoms. I'm trying to find the right words, but I can't find them. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing that happens, and this increases your skill level as a guitar player and musician. Number 3, play live any and every chance you get. Now, you may be in a band playing live already, or you're starting a band. That's going to be amazing when you're up there on stage. There is no cooler feeling than being up there playing music in front of people. It's amazing. If you can't do that, then you can always play in front of friends and family. Like I said, if you have like a party or get together or something like that, say, hey guys, I'm going to bring my guitar. I'm just going to sit in the corner over here and jam, or throw them a little concert. Hey, I'm going to play 30 minutes of music. Or you can always, and I encourage this more than anything, you can always find an open mic to go jam out in your area and play in front of people. Now, let me know in the comments, what's the one thing that you got out of this video? Maybe you're going to do all 3, and that's great, but tell me what in this video that you plan to implement that you're not doing right now. I want to know that in the comments. Also, a quick plug, if you're not part of the Jason Stallworth Guitar Academy, check that out. If you want to stretch your skills even further and learn some new riffs, learn some licks, and of course, if you're new and you just want to learn the foundation of playing metal, the Jason Stallworth Guitar Academy is the place to do that. I'd love to see you in there. There's a link in the description if you want to learn more about how my academy can help you grow. So guys, thank you for watching and thank you for listening to the stories here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making this video for you. So this is really cool to do. I feel like we're just sitting in the room together, just having a fireside chat, even though there's no fire. But I do have coffee, which is cold by now, so I'm going to go make some more. Guys, as always, keep it metal and keep playing music.